Hello there. Welcome to our next episode of Bob Degrees Audio Stories. Um, the last story I read to you on last Friday was, I felt like it could be a series, like a Stephen King mini-series type of thing. But I also know that there are some people out there who are not huge fans of horror and love my stories of hope, or at least stories that inspire them. So this is what I'm going to do for them. So first I'm going to read an inspiring story, and then I'm going to do a recap of where we left off in the story of the absence of light. And then I will continue with that one. So this way, if you're not a big fan of where that story is going, you can stop after this story. Anyways, this is called Lessons of the Past. Hope you like it. Is the written word the only way to truly represent the historical impact of the past, or how the present, once experienced, becomes history? Many great humans have lived far few calendar years than I have, and have had more of an impact. One of the people in my life who I have always looked up to was someone who understood and wrote about the respect a human life should be given regardless of what defines us superficially. It was something deeper, the respect every person deserves by being born. We should be valued because we exist. We are born with a value, and we nurture it to a place where our existence can have a meaningful impact on those around us. Some use it for division and hate, but it seems a waste of whatever limited time we have to remain in it. But it seems to be a waste whatever time we have to remain in a dark, vindictive, selfish place. Let us instead resolve and emulate those who are determined to help one another, people who try to help their fellow humans wipe away the dirt that others purposely smear across their windows of their lives, obscuring the ability to see the light and causing us to act in ways unbecoming of the growth that we were destined to achieve. The heroic humans from the past were not always a beacon of hope that we see them as now. Some held on to dark secrets until they were close to the end or took them to their graves. But the heart has a way of helping you reconcile what you have done and what you can become if you give it a chance. One's only way to change their situation is to seek clarity, not to view it through an obstructive view. Even if what you see is disturbing, knowing where you are at in the moment is the only way to find directions to where you want to be. This path is not simple. Criticism by others and one's self-doubt can be challenging boulders to sidestep. I know, because I've made a lifetime of debilitating detours. But the hope is with a clear vision of where you want to be. Where you want to be could be the only roadmap that you need. Siddhartha Gautama, also known as Buddha, was the son of a king who lived an animated life to his followers and to his son. masking all that was real, even disguising the plight of the poor, sick, downtrodden, and even death. Something one day Buddha discovered and spent years exploring. Though that journey came to through that journey came an understanding of suffering, compassion, and the possibility of finding peace within the realities of being human. Understanding your place in contributing to the good of this world can be fraught with intimidation, fear, and in some cases, even death. Just read the story of Malala Yousafzai. Her vision of women having the right to an education. She knew education was essential to creating a clearer, more honest picture for the world. She knew that education was essential to creating a clearer, more honest picture of the world for all. And she pursued that vision even after being threatened and even shot. Doing what is right isn't always easy, but the impact it can have on our humanity far outweighs the obstacles we must overcome. So, what will someone be inspired to write about you someday in the flicker of a candlelight or by the luminescence of a full moon? Will you inspire others to believe in the positive impact they can provide, or will your example be that the boulders that are there to disrupt their path are there permanently? We all reach a place where we discover the roots of love and respect that we were born with. The real question is, when your life story is written, will those you have touched be inspired to live a life like yours? To me, it is my goal, and with guidance of those who inspire me, truly my destination. That was Lessons from the Past. So now, if you're not a big fan of like Stephen King type stuff, this might be the time where you turn this off. But if you are, I'll give you a recap of last week's episode of The Absence of Light. It's about a human being who's being challenged by his journey and trying to find excuses, people to blame, based on the bad decisions that he once made. He feels tormented. And I'll read just the last paragraph. And then we'll start the new episode. I begin to wonder where my tether of faith and the light has gone. How did it slip from my grasp? Why am I surrounded by such overwhelming darkness? Then a shadow crosses my path. It stops. A faceless man cloaked in darkness slowly turns towards me. Though I cannot see his features, I feel his gaze piercing through me. After what feels like an eternity of silence, he speaks only 3 words. Welcome to hell. Episode 2. The words of the dark man sent a chill through my spirit, but as I look around, I realize they must be true. I have died, and the choices that I've made have landed me in this desperate isolation, void of light and love. I walk past translucent beings, all of whom seem to be condemned to relive their most debilitating memories. The most disturbing ones play like a skipping record, repeating visions of the same mistakes that they made and chose to ignore, never believing that they would ultimately pay the consequences for their actions, their lack of civility, or their hatred without reason. Until you are here, you can never know how bad it can truly be. Regrets from life that you've lived play over and over like a horror film, showing only its most bloody, blood-curdling scenes back to back to back until you come to the terrifying realization that it's never going to end. As I walk through this demonic pit of fire, I cannot help but pray to someone I purposely ignored for years, clinging to the desperate hope that things could somehow be different. Yet my soul seems to melt in the heat of anger consuming this abhorrent place I now find myself inhabiting. With every step, I am consumed with contrition for the acts for which there is no forgiveness. Then again, the dark man crosses my path. Evil drips from his cloak like molten steel, leaving a trail of pain everywhere he goes. His stare is relentless, His stare is relentless, severing one by one every filament that once connected my soul to God. His intention is clear: to make my soul his own, possessing it for eternity. Unsure of what comes next, I am consumed by despair, unable to see even the faintest illumination of white light. I can only see the fires of hell casting their glow upon the torture and the pain that all who reside here experience ad nauseam. Each time the dark man passes, my ability to believe in anything other than his depraved interpretation of what matters grows weaker. Whatever goodness once resided within my soul is slowly being extinguished, along with every remaining possibility of hope. Just then, everything goes dark, and I feel myself being lifted. When my eyes open, I find myself hung to a post, the flames of hell licking at my remorse-filled soul. I never have imagined that it would have come, that this would have become my fate. I was born with light and promise, yet now I am bound to relive a life consumed by regret and hate until I surrender to the core beliefs of the dark man. If I were given a chance to relive my life, I know I would make different choices. Choices filled with love, not hate. A belief in my fellow man rather than suspicion. Acceptance and joy rather than greed and selfishness. I would embrace all the goodness I once failed to see and cherish every opportunity I had to give rather than take. But that choice is no longer mine. This is my eternity. Okay, that's the next episode of Absence of Light. We'll have another episode next week. It's already written. Thanks for everything that you all do to help me believe in the good that we all have inside of us. Every time somebody watches one of my videos, it makes me feel like I can feel that love. I can feel that support. And you're pretty special. So it's Friday, and I love you. God bless.